Cuspers, welcome back to Deep Heights. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad that you're here. I do apologize if I missed your birthday. I feel like it was important, and I thought about it. I've thought about all of you, and feel sorry that I wasn't able to get a reading out on time for that. But everything happens for a reason. Things have been very busy in my life. A lot of changes, a lot of happy changes. I turned 40 yesterday on the 22nd, and that was exceptional for me. It was really the most beautiful day I think that I've ever had, and that's saying a lot. I've had some beautiful ones. So today I'm 40 days, 40 years and 1 day old, and that's pretty cool. So anyway, if it was your birthday, I wish you the happiest and hope that your next year is full of beauty and joy. If today is your birthday, happy birthday, and in the next few days, happy birthday. Let's get started. The Skull of Darkness. How exciting. Welcome to Deep Heights. Blind spots. That's interesting. The things that we don't see. And what is the biggest thing that we usually don't see, and that's ourself. And I talk about that a lot. It could be others, and we'll get into it and see where it goes. But the Skull of Darkness. The things that we don't see in the light, because if you're in the dark and you turn the light on, you can only see so far, right? It's better to let our eyes adjust to the dark, or to be in the dark and develop different senses to navigate through that darkness. And what is the dark really? I mean, is it the subconscious, the things that we don't know? Is it the future, the past? Things that we haven't dealt with, our shadow? Interesting. I was going to do a spread, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I just kind of want to pull some cards and see what they have to say. The Skull of Darkness is interesting. Let's see where we're going with that. I have the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot. I bought it last year and I haven't used it yet. I do like this deck though. It's cute. Okay. What's going on for my cusper with the Skull of Darkness? What's going on? What's the situation? We have the Six of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups. It's an overwhelming sense of happiness and well-being. Your creativity feels very high, but I feel like you're spending time at home, maybe spending time with family, sharing your victories, your joys. Something is bringing you a lot of joy. I like this Six of Candles because with the Skull of Darkness, it's like you don't have to worry about the things that you don't know about, your blind spots, because I feel like you have others that are there to help you and support, and if you feel alone, like you don't have a lot of family or friends, there are always there's unseen help, that you have from your guides, from spirit, from nature, from your ancestors, from spirit itself. To not fear the dark. We spend so much time being afraid of the dark, afraid of the unknown. And what I see here is that there's no reason for you to be afraid. This Page of Pentacles is speaks to me about innocence. A lot about innocence, especially with the Six of Cups. You don't need to be afraid. You showing up with this Page of Pentacles, you have success here, and it brings you joy. Oh, you can tell I haven't read cards in a while, huh? You have success and it brings you joy. There's like thousands of other tarot readers who say things like that. It's gross. I apologize. Oh, that's funny. Okay. What's the challenge here for my cusper? What's the challenge? Hierophant. The word's right there. It's not authority or institution, it's convention. Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Maybe you're creating something new. You're pioneering a new way of being for yourself, or new thoughts, or new work. Something that you're doing in the practical world that's successful, very artistic with the Six of Cups and Six of Wands, very passion driven. Because this character here, he's the mayor, right, of Halloween Town. He doesn't look too happy. They're like, oh God, here they come. This upstart, right? I feel like you may be challenging convention in something. Yeah, we have the Hanged Man and the King of Cups here. Whatever it is, you're very passionate about what you do. It's different. It's different from what other people are doing. And I think it could be very helpful to others. But others don't see it in the way that you see it. Or it's being done in a different way. What's the advice here to my cusper? What's the advice? Temperance. Four of Pentacles. Hang on. The Tower, and then the High Priestess behind the Four of Pentacles. Hang on. Hang the fuck on. This Temperance here. No, this is the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, even more. Hang on. It's gonna get rocky with the Five of Pentacles, the Tower, and the Priestess. It's gonna challenge your belief system here. But don't stray from your path, from what it is that you believe in and what you're doing. I feel like I want to say for the next year, and this new year, this new growth that you have, this maturity. The Page of Pentacles is typically a youthful way of feeling about creating and doing. It's very natural, very grounded, very pure, a very pure energy. Happy with the Six of Cups and Six of Wands. You're so happy to share what it is that you're sharing, and I feel like you may be meeting resistance for that from people who are less artistic or less feeling, less open to that. And the advice to you is this Temperance card, to have faith. This is going to require faith, which I have trouble with myself, and what faith exactly means. I think about Carl Jung was asked, he was like, do you believe in God? Jung paused and he said, no, I don't believe in God. I know God. So whatever it is that you're doing, it's more than faith that you have to have. You have to say, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Because you are going to face difficulty. This Five of Pentacles and Tower. With this High Priestess. From very strong opposition. Hold your ground. Because even if you lose, because with the Five of Pentacles and the Tower, you may take some hits. You may take some losses. But you gain this inner strength and wisdom of just knowing and persevering here with the Temperance card. Keep going and know, say, I think of Ayn Rand too. She's like, I don't have faith. I have convictions. I know. To have convictions is to know. When we know from, even if we don't know from experience, because how else do we know things, right? Other than through experience. But some things we just know. And this, whatever you're doing, you just know. And even if we start the reading with this Skull of Darkness, with these blind spots, you know that you'll be safe in what you're doing, as long as it's pure, as long as what you're creating is for good, because there is a difference in the things that we create. There is a sharp line in between good and bad, in between good and evil. I know that. I know that there's a line between good and evil, and so do you. But it's a thin line. It's a very thin one. Anyway, when you move in purity through your heart, and these sixes here, I think are relevant. The Six of Wands and the Six of Cups. And with this Temperance, because she's usually mixing fire and water. Here with this Page of Pentacles, it's young, it's new, it's a newer, fresher idea, creation, way of being, way of seeing, way of living, way of creating. I do see you being successful, but there are always challenges. And I do feel the need to prepare you for perhaps some difficulty. Are you going to be able to take the hits and keep moving forward? That's how winning is done, right? Quoted Rocky before. That's how winning is done. Take the hits. Five of Pentacles in the Tower. Unexpected. But with the High Priestess, it might be a lot of self-doubt, or feeling like you aren't good enough. But you are good enough as long as you continue to know. And I was going to say as long as you continue to believe, but you must know yourself. Know that you aren't afraid in the dark with these blind spots, because no matter where we are, just as our souls, as our beings, we're never going to see everything. We're never going to be able to see it all or predict it all, and fear stops us from doing everything. Fear is the mind killer. To quote Tsarian, fear is for the enemy. Fear is for other people. No, fear isn't for you. Get that out of your vocabulary, out of your lexicon of your being. There is no fear. I will not fear. You will not fear. Because you know. You move in more than faith. You move from knowing. Because you feel it. You just do it. And that isn't understood by most people. What I'm saying, or how you are, whatever it is that you're creating. People are afraid. They're so afraid of the unknown. They want to feel safe. They want to be safe. Safety is an illusion. Let's check the frequency here. Remembrance. Interesting. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul and a body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. That's interesting, talking about, flowing and going through those blind spots and just knowing and allowing yourself and your spirit and your soul to navigate what it knows already. Not that you've experienced this life now as yourself, but you have other experiences that are stored in your energy field, in your soul, in your DNA, and just the spark of your being. And not only do you have that, but you have that spark of the universe, of spirit, of God within you, within the all. You are the all. Looking back on that and using it in the now, using your experiences. There's a great quote, and actually in this book from R.D. Laing in the beginning, and he's talking about man's invisibility to man. And that invisibility, our experiences are our invisibility, and before it was thought of as the soul, the experiences of man as the soul, which is interesting to think about, because you never understand me as me, and I never understand you as you. We understand each other from our own selves. And I think that's what's so challenging in this reading, that when we move through life, or when we're going through life, and are we ever really understood in the things that we are creating? It's like, do you even need that understanding from other people? Why is it that you're creating whatever it is that you're creating? Because the right people will always show up. You know, for my YouTube, for this channel, for Deep Heights, I mean, if it's meant for us to speak to one another, we'll speak. You'll find the message and it'll be for you. Maybe not the whole thing, maybe bits and pieces of it. Sometimes I buy a whole book and it was one line changes my life, and the rest of it's terrible. You know, that's just the way things are. It doesn't make the other information less valuable, or, you know, maybe about what it is that you're creating, difficulty that you're finding, resistance for its acceptance. But look at the world. Do you want the world to accept what it, you know, do you expect that from the world? What is it that you expect? Fame, or, you know, do you need recognition to feel worthy, or acceptance? I don't know why. A quote that I heard many years ago that's always stuck with me, and I think about it whenever I feel alone, that it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profound. It's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. To be like the world, they don't look very healthy to me, or like they would be able to accept much of anything that's great. I don't know. I just watched Dave Chappelle's new special, and I thought it was hilarious and pretty awesome. I like Dave Chappelle just in general, and you know, people are having whole marches outside of Netflix because, you know, of his comedy, of his opinion. If you don't like it, don't watch it. You know, because it hurts your feelings or it offends you. That's the world we live in. Cancel culture. Everything is too offensive. Can't say anything. You can't do anything. No, push the boundaries always to create something new. It's scary. Be different. That would always want to be my message. Be different. I'm not interested in the same things. Are you interested in the same things? No, that's why you're creating new things. Fuck them. They don't want it. Let them have the old. I'm not saying that all old ways are bad, because they aren't. But, I don't know. It'll be different for everyone. Woo. My cards got all feisty. What have you to say about this to my cusper? Holding together. Gate 8. Leading by example. Contribution. Leading by example. The basic worth realized in contributing individual efforts to group goals. Through example, the contribution of the individual is impressed on the collective. Looking at line 4, respect. Line 1, honesty. Back of the card. Which one are you? Doesn't matter, does it? If you're big or small, young or old, educated or ignorant. Holding together is important. This Temperance card. The advice here, this with this Five of Pentacles and the Tower and the High Priestess. I feel like there are things that you're going to have to let go of. Maybe people as well. Parts of yourself that you've been hanging on to, like needing, maybe needing acceptance here. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Fellowship of Man. The Fellowship of Man. The listener, the hearer of secrets. Looking at fatigue here, being very tired. I personally have a hard time with groups, so when I see this card, my instinct is always, I don't want to be in a fellowship, anything. Fellowships can be good. I'm a great fan of Tolkien. Great things can be accomplished together, of like-minded individuals working for a higher purpose, for good. It was talking about, I think in the beginning, about a difference in between good and evil. When you're on the side of good. So often there are so few, it feels like, who are on the side of good, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the numbers. I think about Stefan Molyneux, a video I had watched a long time ago of him that made such an impression on me. And he was doing an interview and the guy was like, we've got the numbers. And Molyneux was like, fuck the numbers. Fuck the numbers. You know, you make the stand and the people come. You know, he's like, no, you make the stand and the people will come. And that's what it is. You do what it is that you do. You speak your truth that needs to be spoken. You create what it is that your soul is wanting to create. That brings you joy. That's completely unique to you and individualistic and beautiful and a contribution, talking about the things that are you're contributing, your contribution, the contribution of the individual is impressed upon the collective. The collective doesn't necessarily have to be people, it's nature, it's spirit. In whatever way that is, because it's the smallest acts that have the greatest effects on people. Things that we find insignificant that have the greatest meaning. And moments that no one else sees. You hear secrets because you're listening to your heart, you're listening to your soul, you're listening with spirit. Holding together through difficulty. I do feel like that there is an outside influence, possibly masculine energy here. That is, and feminine, this is the card of Taurus, it's ruled by Venus. It's masculine and feminine energy here, Saturn and Venus in this card of the Hierophant. Strict rules, but we have the Hanged Man with the King of Cups. Challenging your position, making you question yourself and your abilities. No, you must have that knowing, and I keep stopping myself from saying faith. Just saw 23, which is 11, right? Interesting reading. Sorry, pardon me, I'm trying to see which cards want to talk. No. Get an animal energy for you. I always love that Stefan Molyneux. Fantastic. Fuck the numbers. In that, he was talking about, like, if you're at the bottom and you're being pushed down, he's like, you've got to push, and people are pushing against you. You've got the collective or whatever it is, something stronger than you pushing against you, and it's just you by yourself, and they're pushing and pushing. Push the fuck back, he's like. And I just love the way he's like, push the fuck back. He's like, I don't care who's on the other side of that. You push the fuck back and you get that wheel back up. You have to make that happen. You can't allow yourself to get pushed around by something that presents itself as stronger than you, bigger than you, better than you, smarter than you. Making you feel less than, or like you don't know what you're doing because you haven't seen all of the possibilities. And I'm not encouraging recklessness, you know, but living your life to create art and your soul and yourself and your being are important. The opportunity to be who you are, to create what you love, to do what you love, that makes you happy, brings you joy. No one should be able to challenge that. Who's with my cusper? The octopus. Intelligence. Having to do many things at many times, many things at once. These animals, I don't know. Is it a fish? A mammal? I don't know. I'm not all knowing for sure. His little mind is on fire, you see. His mind is all lit up. There, his crown. He's thinking a lot. He has a lot of ideas. Has those tentacles, and he can hold on or he can let go. I also feel like there's a need to kind of get to work, you know, because if it's all in the mind and it's not in the practical world, what use is it? What good is it if it's just an idea that, you know, you're playing around with, you know, like I have all these creative, beautiful ideas, but I'm being discouraged from it, you know, and discouraged from your own self, you know, because we get in our own way as well. Put it into action. It's time to put it into action. Definitely. It got really warm all of a sudden. Regeneration. Rosemary. No, pterodon. Star. 17. Regeneration. Card of Aries. Of course I got warm, right? All that Martian energy. Mars is still in Libra. It'll be going into Scorpio soon. Which I think is nice, you know, because that Mars going into Scorpio will give you a little bit more bite. You know, Mars in energy with Pluto there, it is very regenerative. The eighth house is about regeneration, and with Mars on your side there to give you that strength to help you to summon your will, that warrior within you. That's not so concerned like Mars and Libra about what sounds nice or what's fair, you know, because what's fair isn't always what's best, is it? You know, does what's fair stifle your creativity if like the greater good it would be something that's fair? You know, the individual is the greatest minority, like the smallest minority, right? Summon your fire, Cusper. We'll close here with a shamanic healing card. My legs fall asleep down here on the floor. I keep saying, you know, anyway, I'm gonna do a different setup and transitioning, so moving and never seems very important as long as, you know, the message gets across. You know, if you like to see the cards more, just let me know and I'll make some changes. Okay. Joy. Card 42. Home on the bottom of the deck. Self-love below that. New beginnings below that. Really, you know, when I think about home, for me, in my own life, I've never lived anywhere longer than 4 years. And those were far and few between. I've always moved and felt like I didn't have a home, and that was so important to me. It was always so important to me, like I needed to have a home, and and realizing that home is always right, like here, like nothing outside will ever give you more joy than what you can give yourself. And other people matter for sure, our relationships with other people. But I think that this joy and self-love is very, very important here, because whatever you're doing and whatever you're creating seems new with this Page of Pentacles, that it's fresh and it's somewhat challenging to convention, of who you are, and your happiness and what you do. With this Five of Pentacles in the Tower with the High Priestess, you could maybe have to move, losing your home, or a lot of people are losing their jobs because they won't comply. If you don't have a job, you can't have a home. How you deal with that? And I'm hoping, you don't suffer in any kind of way, but difficulties are part of life. When you stand up for what you know, for what you know is right for you, loving yourself enough to do that. Because when you do that, the universe is always with you, spirit's always with you. You'll always have a home, in this life and the next, to not be afraid. This happiness. Self-love is 41, and joy is card 42. Here, this is self-love, and it's got that heart with wings, and the sun and the moon and this rain. It's like all seasons. So when you can love yourself, no matter what, in darkness, with blind spots, if you don't have all the things that you think you need to have, or acceptance from others, you still have joy. There'll always be light in the dark for you, Cusper, when you know. I hope to see you again, and happy birthday. Put it into action.